Why Game of Thrones Sucks. Season 1, Episode 6, A Golden Crown, or as I like to call it, The Real Housewives of Westeros, since it's mostly just people petty, bitching and moaning, yelling at each other, constant whining. It is really bad. As a whole, this is not a good episode. It has a couple of high points, and for the most part is whiny, boring crap. It starts with Ned waking up, Cersei yelling at him, bitching about her brother. Ned counters by whining about his men getting killed by Jaime. Robert seems disinterested in all of it. They go back and forth for a while till Robert starts beating Cersei, because domestic abuse is always a good way to start a show. Cersei leaves angry, and Robert makes Ned the Hand again, which is a terrible choice. Ned was already terrible at it, but Robert just wants to go hunting instead. So, here Ned, be in charge, I'm leaving. It's really, really shoddy, well, kingsmanship, I guess. Then it goes to everyone's least favorite character, Bran, who dreams of a three-eyed raven, then wakes up to discover his new saddle. Shows him wandering around in the woods screaming woo. Theon is telling Robb that they have to go to war with the Lannisters over the whole thing with their father getting speared. Everyone had much better communication in the first season, I'll give them that. Everyone knew everything that was going on. Then wildlings attack Bran and are talking about how they're going to steal his horse and all of his stuff. Apparently that giant ice wall and the men of the Night's Watch have yet to stop anyone from going anywhere. Why even man the damn thing if no one catches anything? They are also pointless. And Robb and Theon kill all but one of them. Robb gets all mad that Theon killed the one who was going to kill Bran, because Robb's an ungrateful dick. And they wanted more people to just bitch at each other. It was great. Goes to Aria training with the sword. Even she is mopey and sullen in this one. And since she's usually one of the better characters, that sucks. But she trains with the sword, and that's her whole thing in this episode, is a couple of minutes training with the sword. We go to Daenerys eating a horse's heart. It is disgusting. The Dothraki are terrible. All weird barbarian crap. They're all standing around cheering her as she eats a horse heart. Viserys is jealous the whole time and constantly complaining about it. He is the worst. Anyway, she gets the whole horse heart down and doesn't throw up, and they think this makes her the best thing in the world, and that her kid is going to be the stallion who mounts the world. What a dumbass name for anything. The stallion who mounts the world. Really rolls off the tongue, you fucking savages. Jesus Christ. Viserys leaves in a jealous huff, goes and tries to steal Daenerys' dragon eggs. Jorah comes in, tells him he can't steal the dragon eggs. There's a small confrontation. He leaves in a huff. More Real Housewives bullshit. Then comes the only really good scenes in this whole thing with Tyrion. Getting out of his sky cell, confessing his crimes. He confessed to some of the most hilarious crimes ever. Then demanded trial by combat. Bran volunteers to help him. He fights a knight, kills him, tosses him out the moon door, claims there's no point of fighting with honor, which is pretty true. I mean, if you want to win, honor is really a secondary concern. But both of them were funny and the only real high points of the show. And they leave the Aerie, happy as clams. Ned sits on the Iron Throne, passing judgment on things. Turns out the Mountain, who we all know is a giant, insane lunatic, has been out burning places, raping women, killing people, and in general being a psycho. Littlefinger is sitting next to Ned, trying to manipulate him the whole time. He sends a bunch of people to go bring in the Mountain and calls for Tywin to come in and answer for the Mountain's crimes. I can't imagine it would end well. We'll see how that's going to go. Then they go to Sansa, being just the bitchiest. Sitting around with her septa and sassing her, telling her she doesn't care about her, telling her she's nothing. She's really starting to fit in here in King's Landing. Joffrey comes in to apologize and give Sansa a gift and tell her he'll never be cruel to her again. He never sounds sincere at all, but Sansa just eats it up and loves the idea of being queen, and she is a twit. Ned meets his girls and tells them he wants them to go to Winterfell. They don't want to go. Sansa desperately wants to marry Joffrey. She's nothing like the Fat King. He's a blonde lion or whatever. And this is what leads Ned to figuring out that Joffrey's not really Robert's son, that he's a horrible incest bastard. It took you long enough, Ned, you idiot. Now that you know that, take your girls and go home. But you won't, you honorable moron. Back over to Daenerys and Khal Drogo. They're having a feast to celebrate awesome feats of horse heart eating. Viserys comes in drunk, demands his crown, threatens to cut out Daenerys' baby. Khal Drogo says, fine, we'll give you a crown. They break his arms, they hold him. He melts down his golden belt and then pours it over the top of his head, killing him. Daenerys shows no emotions whatsoever at watching a horrific murder in front of her. I mean, it's her brother, but the fact that he was a huge dick will lessen that impact. But still, a brutal murder right in front of you, she has no emotion. She's nuts. She's going to be a villain. Let's hope she never becomes the queen. And that's it. That's the whole episode. Ned and Cersei whined at each other. Ned and Robert whined at each other. Theon and Robb whined at each other. Daenerys and Viserys whined at each other. It was just wall-to-wall reality TV. It was terrible. I'm glad it's over. I can't wait for more of these people to die.